this video, we'll review standard GNSS connection options. So we'll open FieldLink and jump right into getting connected under the device icon. We'll select GNSS. If you have all FieldLink modules, it'll be fourth in the list. If you don't have a scanning supported tablet, it'll be the far right. So we'll look for that, and then you'll see the full serial number of any available or any GNSS device you might have connected to in the past. So you can always find the GNSS serial number underneath the physical receiver itself. So I'll connect to the receiver that I have in range here. We'll need to make sure, by the way, and FieldLink will toast you if not, that you do have Bluetooth turned on your data collector for this initial connection to happen. So it'll connect there, and then it'll tell you whether or not it's connecting to a base or a rover. In the bottom left-hand corner, we actually do have both the base icon and a rover icon. So note the difference in connection methods. So if I'm using a base here, I'll want to make sure if I need to name this base point a specific thing. If I'm working to specific accurate elevations, I'll want to physically measure my base as I'm doing this setup and input this. Whether or not I'm using the quick release, this will actually tell me where to measure to. So as I use the quick release, it's telling me measure to the bottom of the quick release. If I'm not, it's telling me to measure to the bottom of the physical receiver. And then it's asking me what radio channel I'm going to be using. This is, again, your typical setup for the base when you're using a base and rover setup. We'll need to make sure next that our rover matches. Anytime you're inputting this information and you're connecting for the first time, even if your factors are the same as the day before, we need to make sure we hit that store icon. That way that base will start communicating exactly on that channel, and FieldLink will prompt us to move on, and if we wanted to go to the rover connection and start that manual process to find the rover so the tool will be paired. I want to just go over all kind of instrument settings in this video. So instead of base, if for whatever reason you needed to change real time or we just selected the right factor, that menu I was just in, we can always get back to by clicking device and settings. And this is where I could go back and, I could change my radio channel at any time. I could go reset my elevation if that was inaccurate. Or if, your receiver was set up as both a base and a rover, and you had a reason to change real time, by tapping the second icon in the bottom left-hand corner, now I'm moving over to rover configurations and connections. So with the radio option that's selected first by default, this would be if we're working in a base and a rover. So I'm telling my rover what radio channel I'm needing to communicate on. If we were working in a base like we just showed, we'll just make sure those match. Next on the list is a VRS network. So if we have access to our state's network or a private network, this is where we input those credentials and sign-on information. And the last option is RTX. And we can tell the tool whether or not we'll be working through satellites, which would be offline, or if we're working online, we rely on the internet connection there. So those are your three options when you're actually doing a rover settings. And just like the actual base settings, just make sure you're here, you've got what you're looking for, but then you do push that store button to make sure those values are saved and active. That's what your rover will start to work as. So